Hey friends, welcome back to the life of a makeup artist. Now, on this side of the world, temperatures are dropping, showers are getting hotter, and your skin is getting drier, okay? Now, luckily for you, no matter where you are in the world, we have an expert here with us today, the Danielle Gray, otherwise known as the Style and Beauty Doc, to kind of help us get it together. Danielle is a committee member with Jergens. She has had long-term partnerships with brands like Dove. She is also has been seen on shows like Dr. Oz. So we already know that we are in for a treat. Danielle!
And she a Trini too?
A Trini! Oh my God! How are you? What's going on?
Listen, I'm great now that I'm in your presence. I always love to hang out with my
I
Trini
know. Listen, I'm so happy. So Danielle was actually on the podcast in 2020, which is, it feels like so long ago, but I don't know if I did you justice with my little intro, so I would love to have you introduce yourself to our new friends.
Okay, well, I am the queen of Zamunda. Let me stop. No, I am a skincare fanatic. I love to help people, get because there's so much confusion out there when it comes to skincare,
Right.
especially when you have all of these big technical terms and there's a skincare brand coming out every 2 seconds. So I
Right.
like to take all that stuff that's out there, stuff that the dermatologists say and the estheticians say, and make it simplified so that everyday person can understand.
Right.
I'm a Queens, New York girl
I love that.
by way of Trinidad. Both my parents are from Trinidad. Okay. Tonapuna, Princess Town.
Oh, that's nearby me. St. Martin.
Okay. Yes. I don't know where that is on the map.
But I know about
There's
it.
my people them.
Right. But I know about it. Okay, so today we are talking about, it's kind of a winter skincare. We're in January. It's cold. You talk a lot on your social about these hot showers.
Y'all be trifling.
And,
I see we just gonna get right into the
right,
mess.
so we're going to get right into mess because you were recently dubbed an ice bath ambassador.
When I tell you I cried when I saw
I was cracking up.
I love my audience. They are just so funny. Like every time I terrorize them about the hot shower. Should we tell them about the hot shower?
Yes, please. Right. Let's just go right into it.
So if y'all don't know, right? Dry skin is exacerbated by things like the cold, dry winter, which, here it gets brick, as we say here in New York. It can also be something that gets worsened by things that irritate the skin. Sometimes it could be beauty products that you're using that might be a little bit too harsh for your skin. But one of the easiest things that you can just, it's just a 1, 2, 3 thing. Everybody can do it. Anybody out there can do it. Hot water zaps the skin of its moisture. People of color, we already suffer from something called transepidermal water loss.
Oh, wow.
Which is basically, it's a term that means
I
that
never
the
heard
skin...
of that.
It's a term that you would probably see in textbooks and dermatologists will say it. But it's basically the skin is having a hard time holding on to the hydration it needs. So as soon as the skin is getting the hydration, it's almost as soon as it evaporates, it's gone, right?
Wow.
And skin of color, we have that exponentially.
Right.
And I always joke around and say it's the scientific term for ash.
Right.
Because if you see, we ashy.
That's what that hot shower is going to give you.
Right. So
it feels so good, though.
The skin is already having an issue holding on to hydration. You make it worse with the hot showers. Right. When I tell people, calm down on the hot showers, for some reason, some people just think that I'm saying take a cold shower, which is why the person called me an ice bath ambassador.
That is so funny.
But it's just turn it down a little bit. A cold day like today, I live in Queens in an apartment building where in the wintertime, it does take a little while for the water to heat up. So I'll probably keep it on hot while I'm waiting for the water to heat up.
Right.
And then when before I jump in, I turn it down or up, down. Yeah, turn it down so it's not as hot. Because that hot water is just gonna take all of the.
But playing devil's advocate.
Yes, devil's advocate.
What if I take a hot shower and then I, moisture sandwich my skin? I put oils and butter.
What if you cut yourself and put a Band-Aid? It ain't gonna stop you from that. You just cut yourself, right?
Point taken. Thank you very much. I move on to my next question. No, but it's true. Same. Yeah, I get it. Okay, so there's a difference between, because a lot of people say, well, my skin is oily. I don't really, what is the difference between dry skin and dehydrated skin?
So Dehydrated skin is skin that doesn't have water. So there's no the hydration. It's D of hydration.
Right.
The hydration is gone.
Right.
Whereas dry skin, it's an oil issue. So dry skin has a hard time keeping the hydration in, whereas the dehydrated skin has a hard time, doesn't have the hydration at all. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to think about it. But when you have oily skin, you can have oily dehydrated skin.
Right. But you can also have dry.
You can have dehydrated skin too. Right. It's basically meaning that it's in the water versus the oil.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you think are some of the most moisturizing ingredients that you can start including into your routine to help on not only your face but also your body?
Your body. Okay. So what I would say, and this is something that's another really easy thing that people can do, like you hit a home run instantly doing this. So especially in the wintertime, and all year round you want to do this. The best time to moisturize your skin is while it's still a little bit damp.
Right.
Just after a shower, you lock in. I mean, you don't want the skin to be drenching because that's kind of hard to rub stuff in. But just when it's a little damp, you put your moisturizers on. That right there, that moisturizer is going to help, because what your moisturizer does is that it keeps the hydration in, so it keeps it from evaporating out of the skin.
Right.
So doing that already right there is going to be a game changer. When it comes to your skin, your facial skin, you can use a similar thing. Now, for some people, that's going to look a little bit different because some of us have oily skin, some of us have dry skin, some of us, we may have different types of products in our routine.
Right.
But what I like to do, I have oily skin, and I actually definitely love to do like a hydration, like a moisture sandwich myself, especially in this cold, brutal New York City winter. While my skin is a little bit damp, I'll start in with my SK2 Essence. Now, you ain't got to buy the bougie $100, $200 thing. Right. You can get a hydrating toner.
I like the milky toners.
You can get a cheap. You can get a cheap I mean, I'd say cheap. You can get an inexpensive, affordable toner. I think Cosrx has one that I really love. I can't remember the name of it, but it's in a clear bottle. It's blue.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Yes. But anyway, so what I do, I'll put my SK2 Patera Essence on while my skin is a little bit damp. Then I'll move in with the Estee Lauder Advanced Night Repair, which you can actually use during the day. So depending on the day or whatever, I'll put that on. And then I will, sometimes maybe I'll follow that with my vitamin C if it's during the day. If at night, then I'll immediately just go into my moisturizer. But having that layer, those layers, and I can even do that in the summertime and not have to worry about my skin looking like a oil slick during the day.
Right, because I think that's a lot of a fear that people have is like, oh, if I put too much, I'm going to look oily. And it's like, no, the skin is actually going to drink it up.
Your skin is going to drink it up. And it's what you put on your skin as well, too, because there are so many moisturizers out there. Right. So as somebody with oily skin, I'll probably use something with more of like a gel consistency. Yeah. And if you have dry skin, you can do exactly what I said. Maybe you might want something that's, extra hydrating in it. But then for your moisturizer, if you have dry skin, you probably want something that's a little thicker, more like a cream, something that's more occlusive.
Right.
Yeah.
So one thing that I cannot do at all is dry lips.
Yes.
I can't do it. I don't think I ever told you this story, but I was a teenager and I was visiting, and I went to Coney Island with this boy. And we were on this bus, and this old lady was staring at us, right? So me, I'm just like, well, let's give her a show. So in that moment, it's like, okay, the scene is set. It's so cute. Daniel, when I tell you his lips was so dry, it was flaking dry. And I was like, I couldn't do it. And I think from that moment on, I was just like, dry, I can't. It was just so jarring to me. I was like, I can't do dry lips ever.
Look at it so many years later, and it's like, that's still like, ouch.
So for me, I'm just like, the Lip Medics is not going to cut it.
Right.
Because that's one thing, growing up, I didn't know that had alcohol in it. But I am big on...
But you want to know something? It's funny, because I was thinking about that recently. With the alcohols. They're like, not all alcohols are bad. I haven't looked at the ingredient list of that particular product, but sometimes people kind of get carried away sometimes with looking at, oh, this is bad, never use this. Right. But there are different types of alcohols. There's some fatty alcohols that are actually hydrating, or things that are put into a formula to kind of maybe like thicken up a product or, like help it out. Not all alcohols are drying and bad.
Right.
But when it comes to the lips, I keep it simple.
What do you like?
I like to take a wet toothbrush and use that
the
to
edge of your towel.
exfoliate. Right.
Mhm.
I use that to exfoliate.
Mhm.
If you want to get all fancy schmancy, you can get a lip scrub. I've tried lip scrubs from damn near every brand out
Right,
there.
same.
No, I've tried like a shit ton of like lip scrubs from other brands, and it's
Right.
like, okay, it's nice if you want to have like, that extra step or whatever, but a wet toothbrush
yeah.
is bare base. Well, not
Right.
even call it bare basics, because it really does get the job done.
Right.
And then what I'll do, I like the Ulta juice infused lip oils.
Ooh, I
Like
never tried
those things have me in a chokehold, because especially when it's buy one get one 50% off, because then I get like 10. You know.
It looks like I need to go to Ulta.
I love those. I've tried expensive. The only other expensive lip oil that I've actually liked and have tried, is the Charlotte Tilbury one. That one was really nice.
Right.
But you can also use something like Vaseline,
Right.
Aquaphor.
Yeah, I think the thing with the lip medics, for me, I'm just like, maybe it is not a bad alcohol, but I noticed that my lips will dry out significantly.
Yeah.
And I think it was just like,
it could be. Does it have like a tingling menthol kind of?
Yes.
It might be that.
Yeah.
It could be that.
I love the Lush lip service.
Yeah.
Because it's all natural. It's like,
Yeah.
So no more booze with dry lips, because
Okay,
I will buy one for you.
Dude.
I will buy one for you.
You know what I would hate? Like it's either a dry lip or a lip that's too saturated. 'Cause
Ugh.
I used to when I
With what,
I just had my own like
With what?
I'm still traumatized moment. There was a guy I dated when I was like 19 or 18. I don't know how old I was. Well, maybe I was 16 or something. And every time he would kiss me, the spit would be all over here. And then later on, like, I would have to literally wash my face because if I didn't, if I so much as
Oh my God.
I would smell mouth.
But you know what's so crazy? I actually used to, when I was younger, I have very dark eczema around my mouth, and it was because of the spit. Because I didn't know that spit actually dries out your lips.
Yep. So you can't be LL Cool J in it. You gotta get you
now
some
I'm just like, ew.
petrolatum.
That is so, oh my God, that is so funny. So, I know we spoke about body and stuff, but what are like some specific products that you like for the body?
For the body.
Yes, like shea butter, Ari Lennox type moisturization. Yes. Shea butter, baby.
So Jergens just came out with some bomb new stuff.
Yes.
I am a part of their Shea Collective, along with two amazing ladies, Sheikah Daly, you guys know,
we love.
and dermatologist Dr. Angela Todd. Like, love those two to death. They recently came out with two products. One is the Shea and Cocoa moisturizer, deeply moisturizes, and it has a lot of really good ingredients in it. Niacinamide. I could talk all day about niacinamide, but niacinamide is an ingredient that does so much for the skin. It works whether you have dry skin, oily skin.
Right.
If you have discoloration, like niacinamide is the bomb.
Right.
It has that in it, and it has a really nice scent. Like if it's one thing, McCann do it, is when something is too fragrant.
Right.
Because not so much because my skin doesn't like it. Well, I mean, in the wintertime, skin can get a little funny with fragrance, but it's more so like, if my nose can't take it,
Right.
like
It's
just doing too much.
Right.
And then they also came out. Excuse me. They also came out with the Melanin Glow, which, a lot of us are probably all bundled up now, but me, I still like to show a little skin.
Right. I mean, you layer your outfits.
Right. So the Melanin Glow, it's also a really deeply moisturizing, deeply moisturizing.
Say that 3 times fast.
It's also deeply moisturizing, but it has like this really nice shimmer effect. Like, as a makeup artist, you would mix in like your glitter and your body. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you would mix in all your stuff, and this is all that mixing and stuff all in one thing, and it's subtle. So it's not like something that you have to worry about. Like, if I'm wearing a white top, it's gonna mess up my clothes. I mean, obviously, if you're gonna rub the white top like this, it's gonna, it may be a little something, but
So gentle exfoliation is said to be really good during this time. Like, what type of acids or exfoliants should we be looking for? Because I do think like it can be overwhelming at times.
Yes.
So like, what would you recommend?
The key word here is gentle.
Right.
Because
Don't scrub off your skin.
folks, y'all be out here doing the most with the exfoliation. I think, and I can't even fault you guys because and I'm saying you guys and I'm looking at you, but I ain't blaming she. But what I'm saying, what I am saying is, no, I can't even blame the general public for that because a lot of these brands say to use the exfoliator twice a day.
Twice a day.
Some of them say you could use or once a day. That's too much.
Right.
You know, there may be some skins out there that can tolerate something like that. But skin of color, if it gets irritated, it has a bite, a scratch, a burn, friction, a bug bite,
Right.
like there's so many things that irritation can lead to inflammation that can lead to hyperpigmentation. So you want to be careful if you're especially if you're someone who's hyperpigmentation prone, like you're always having some bout with dark spots.
Right.
You want to make sure that something's not irritating your skin because that irritation can eventually lead down the road to dark spots.
Right.
All right. So now that's going to be different for everybody, right? So we already established the fact that you don't want to irritate your skin. So you don't want to irritate your skin by dryness is something that also can cause hyperpigmentation. So dry skin, that's why sometimes when you have eczema, you'll notice that it'll get darker because that's from that inflammation from the dryness. So your AHA is comprised of a bunch of different acids and some, work differently than others. So for an example, you have your glycolic acid, you have your lactic acid, mandelic. There are a bunch of them.
Right.
So out of the three I just mentioned, like your glycolic acid, usually people call that like the anti-aging acid because it's typically good for cell turnover because as we get older, the cells on our face don't turn over as quickly and it need a little helping hand. Your lactic acid is said to be a little bit more hydrating. So if you have dry skin, that might be something that's beneficial for you. It's also good for discoloration. Glycolic acid is also good for discoloration as well. And then your mandelic acid is one of the more gentle kind of AHAs. So there's what I would say if you're really confused, what I would do is I would kind of like take what I just said. Do I have dry skin? Do I have oily skin? What am I actually trying to achieve here? You look at that and you go and you look Sephora, Target, Ulta, wherever your budget, allows you, affords you. Look at the reviews. You look at the reviews and see what people say. But what you do when you decide on a couple of things to try out, go with the lowest percentage first, especially if you're someone with skin of color. Go with the low, because remember I said skin of color, we can be prone to pigmentation, inflammation, irritation, inflammation, hyperpigmentation. Go with the lowest percentage and slowly implement it into your routine.
Like once a week?
Maybe once a week. Maybe twice a week if you have oily skin. You don't need to, because a lot of things count as exfoliation, not just the physical or the chemical exfoliation.
What do you think about like the powder ones, like the milk
The powder ones can be really nice because a lot of them can be really gentle, and then you can kind of you can kind of control your own destiny with some of those because you can make it a little bit more. It can make it looser or creamier depending on how much water you put in there.
Right.
And then there's like enzyme exfoliants that are good for sensitive skin too.
Right.
Yeah.
So this, if you're listening, this might sound like a lot because you're like, well, where do I start? And that's my next question. Where it's just like, okay, well, there's vitamin C, there's lactic acid, there's hyaluronic acid, there's serums. Like what would you tell someone who's trying to up their most basic routine? Like what would be like, I don't know, like the 2 things that they should add into their routine to make sure that they're getting added moisture, obviously, like, I don't know, maybe a serum or one of the acids. Like I need to exfoliate. So basically I need to give myself extra moisture and I need to exfoliate. Danielle, Style and Beauty Doctor, where do I start?
So I say to try to look for multitasking products because having these 10 and 15 products in your routine, it can be great for the person who has the time and the luxury of being able to take the time and do that type of routine, or if that's just their thing.
Right.
But sometimes people can't keep up with that. And then unfortunately, when people can't keep up with so many steps, they just do nothing at all.
Right.
So keep it simple. I think like my skincare routine is notoriously really, really simple.
Right.
Cleanse, cleanse, treat, moisturize,
Right.
and then during the day you want to protect with sunscreen.
Right.
That's all you really need. So, you cleanse with a gentle cleanser. That's for your skin type and for the season, if you get seasons here. So those of us in brutal cold weather,
Right.
if your cleanser is a gentle cleanser, you may be able to use it year round, but you may want to look into something that's a little more hydrating for the winter.
Right.
And then if you have really dry, sensitive skin, especially in the wintertime, you might be able to get away with just washing your face, cleansing it with water, depending on if you got a good cleanse the night before, because no dirty face.
Take off your makeup.
Take off your makeup. Then you treat, and then the treatment step is going to depend on what it is that you're looking to treat. Is it acne? Is it hyperpigmentation? Is it dryness? And the thing is, people get messed up in this treatment step, because then they're like, okay, I want brighter skin. I want dewier skin. I have acne. I want to do this and that and the third. And so they get like 10 different products, and it's like, slow down, because the more products you introduce, the more likelihood that something could potentially irritate you. We already said irritation, inflammation, hyperpigmentation. So look for things that multitask.
Right.
So there are a lot of products out there that can do multiple things for the skin. So you don't need to have 3 or 4 different products. You can just have one to do it.
Right.
And any routine, if you're not wearing sunscreen,
that was my next question.
What are you even doing?
So do you choose your sunscreens based on like the season? Because I know some have like more creamy, some are like a gel, like the super goop. Like, do you kind of switch out your moisturizers even if it's like subconsciously during different seasons?
Yeah. So what I do, and I'm different than the average person because I do have so many products that I try out and review for my platforms. But there are some sunscreens that you could use year round, like Supergoop Unseen sunscreen, because it has like that silicone kind of feel to it.
Right.
Peter Thomas Roth has one that I put on today that's like that similar, like kind of like clear sunscreen. Those are things that, because you're putting it on top of a moisturizer, you can typically use those throughout the year.
Right.
If you have a sunscreen that's very moisturizing, or a moisturizer with sunscreen, which technically is the same thing. They just, call it something a little different.
Right.
You might want to make sure that corresponds with your skin type and the season. So if I'm using one of the really hydrating Korean sunscreens, which I love Korean sunscreens.
Yes. I love my industry.
Those, some of them I can only use in the wintertime, because I step outside in that hot tub outside.
Right. Especially when it's like peak summertime.
Yes. Yeah. Peak summertime. I need mattifying. I need like oil control. The
one I love, but it's very dewy.
Yes. Oil control. I want to balance the oil. I don't want to obliterate it.
Right.
Wintertime, I need hydrating, but nothing too heavy, because I still have oily skin. So yeah.
Right. So is there anything else? I feel like we've touched the body, the face, sunscreen, lip balm. Is there anything else you would advise, during the winter to kind of take care of your skin? Do you use a humidifier? Is there anything else that we should be adding to our routine?
You got to think of your lifestyle and other things that could be contributing to dry skin that people may not think about. Your materials. Are you wearing wool clothing that kind of like zaps the skin? Are you wearing something that's like causing friction? Because friction is something else that can contribute to dryness and irritation. Your indoor heating. But funny too, not only does the indoor heating cause it to dry out your skin, so does your air conditioning during the summertime, because those can have similar effects on the skin. But it's like worse in the wintertime, because not only are you competing with the indoor heating, you're also competing with outside being cold.
Right.
So those are things that you really want to get a hold of. Now, if people will call me an ice bath ambassador before, I don't know what they gonna call me when I say this. But me, myself, personally, I turn the heat off when I go to bed. And look at me. And I'll tell you why. But
with Harlem heat, I can't turn it off.
So I'll turn my heat off, and I'll give you what to do if you can't turn the heat off.
Right.
So I'll turn my heat off, because not only does that heat dry out my skin no matter what I do, even with a humidifier, it also dries out my nose. And once my nose is dried out, my throat is going to be on fire. I just started Invisalign, even though I left the trays at home before I got here.
Right.
The Invisalign kind of dries my mouth out, and I wake up in the morning like, oh my God, I have COVID.
Right.
Like
you feel so tight.
I just feel like so tight. And then it's like, as soon as I get up, brush my teeth and everything, I'm fine.
Right.
But it's just like so much of this dryness, and that continued dryness could lead to like sinus issues and other skin issues. So I keep the heat off. I will double and triple up on clothing first before and put a big heavy blanket before I would put the heat on at night. And I also still sleep with a humidifier.
Right.
Now, if you're someone where you can't really turn the heat off, I would definitely invest in a good humidifier.
Right.
I would also look into putting some sort of moisturizing ingredient, like especially if your nose dries out, some sort of moisturizing ingredient around your nose.
Right.
Because like if you're like me, you're constantly blowing your nose.
Right.
Even with the soft tissue, sometimes you can get that little irritation
Right.
that's
Right
right there.
Yeah.
I usually put like a little Aquaphor, some sort of like petroleum jelly right there to kind of soothe that.
Right.
But a humidifier is definitely going to be your friend in the wintertime.
I love that. Well, listen, you have given us all the tips. I feel lucky to be your friend because I'm always hydrated, you know. I'm always put together, else I'll get called out online. But you are amazing.
Thank you.
I would love for you to share, because you have so much information that you share on your YouTube channel, which please stay tuned for the 3rd Danielle Gray episode that will be coming to you soon. But I would love for you to share your socials and where we could follow you and get even more skincare advice.
Sure. So I am a crazy person with 3 YouTube channels and Instagram. So my Instagram is stylenbeautydoc with the letter N. On YouTube, my skincare channel is Style and Beauty Doctor. Then I have a fashion channel, Style with Danielle, and a lifestyle channel, Life with Danielle.
All the things.
But come on and follow me. It's a good time. I try to make things that are complicated, easy, and fun. So come on over. Come see me.
I love that. Well, we will catch you guys in the next episode. Don't forget, if you are loving this podcast, which I think you are at this point, we're besties now. Don't forget to leave us a review and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on TikTok and Instagram. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.